Hey, what is going on, guys? Overzed Stealth here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Cloud9 Licorice and how he was able to get 88% kill participation in his game against Clutch Gaming on this weekend. So that's pretty much an unheard of kill participation for a top laner especially. Usually you'd expect like jungle support to always have a very high kill participation, but for Licorice to have that high of a KP, the highest on his team being in the top lane is just insane, and he was basically able to solo carry this game for Cloud9. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at how he was able to do that. So right here, let's just pause this and let's take a look. Let's go over to Licorice's stream here because I'm using the pro view. Now, just to note here, I'm not allowed to actually use the pro view for the whole video. So for the majority of the video here, I do have to use the LCS broadcast stream because we're just not allowed, like league partners, we're not allowed to just use the pro view right now for the full game, which is a bit unfortunate because it would be really cool to take a look at Licorice's point of view throughout the whole game, but we'll take a look at it at a few points. We're still allowed to use it like a little bit throughout VOD reviews and stuff like that. So we're just going to take a look at Licorice here for a second. So what he does here is take a look. He has not actually leveled up a single ability yet. And this is really important. No matter what role you're playing, is to just never level up an ability until you actually get to lane, because it actually saves him here in this situation. It causes him to, or it allows him to not use flash. So he's going to get invaded on here. We can start the gameplay up. He's going to level up his E here, and he's just going to E away. So this is just really, really important. He didn't blow his flash here in the early game. So especially like if you're playing a champion, say like an Ezreal, a Lucian, just any champion with a gap closer, you never want to level it up until you do actually get into lane. There's just really no point in leveling an ability until you reach lane anyways, because you're not going to be using it unless you are invading. So really important there by Licorice to not level up an ability, and it did save him from burning his flash. So all right, so we're going to start off with Huni's point of view in this game here. So what he's going to do is going to heavily influence how Licorice is able to get this first roam off in this game. I guess in this situation as Huni and in this matchup, he doesn't really want to be fighting the Camille in the early game. He wants to let the wave slowly push into his tower. So what he does here is he's trying to get a slow push started. He prevents the wave from crashing in the middle. It's now going to be a little bit more so on Licorice's side of the lane, and therefore Licorice's next wave will be crashing before Huni's wave, and it's going to start attacking Huni's wave before his does, and therefore it will slowly start crashing into Huni's tower. What Licorice also does here in a second is he's going to trade against Huni, and Huni's minions will start attacking Licorice and not Huni's wave, and therefore it's also going to cause Licorice's wave to slowly crash into Huni's tower. So notice there that Licorice's wave did arrive slightly before Huni's, started attacking before Huni's, and therefore it's going to be getting more damage off, and it's going to slowly crash into Huni's tower. So hopefully you guys did understand that. Hopefully I did explain it well enough. But as you notice here, Licorice now does have more minions, so it's going to get slowly into Huni's tower, and this is going to allow for Licorice to get a really good roam off here, because having a lot of minions under your tower in the early game as a top laner, you don't want to instantly clear that out. You want to just slowly last hit every CS if you can under tower, wait for the tower to get it into CSing range, and therefore it's just going to take him a very long time to clear out this wave and give Licorice a lot of time to look for a great roam in the early game. All right, so just swapping to Licorice point of view now for a second here. So just notice the wave is really, really big here under Huni's tower. Licorice is just trying to get this shoved in here now. It doesn't really care how far he's pushed up because he's not really in danger. And now Huni, he has to last hit about like 10 or 15 minions there under tower, which is going to take him a very long time and allow for Licorice to go for a really good early roam. So what Licorice is going to do here, he's gonna roam down, because there's no point in him staying top lane if the wave is like at the enemy's tower. So he's going to roam mid here. Camille's a very, very good roaming top lane champion. So being able to do this in the early game is really good here by Licorice. So they're going to be able to burn Demonte's flash very early on. They're going to be able to follow this up here. So I'm not too sure as to why. We're going to take a look at this in a second here, but Huni's not teleporting in here, but he's also not shoving the wave in top lane. So what it allows for Licorice to stay here, pick up first blood here, and it's just like Huni's not really doing anything right now. I feel like it might have been more of a misplay on Huni here in this situation than, like, it is a good play by Licorice, obviously. It's a good play for him to roam here, but I feel like Huni could have punished him in one way or another. So let's actually just back up here. Really good roam by Licorice. They get 2 kills, 2 for 1. So good start for Cloud9. But let's just back up here and let's take a look at Huni's point of view in this situation. So it's just going to take a second to load here. Let's just move up a little bit. All right, so right here, I feel like this is where either Clutch Gaming just does not have the correct communication. I know that players on Clutch, some of them don't speak super fluent English. I'm pretty sure Lyra doesn't speak super fluent English. I know that Huni's pretty fluent in English, but I don't know if this is a communication problem or what here. But you're gonna notice that Huni, like his team, if his team wants him to TP, they should be calling that out right now. But what Huni's doing, he either needs to hard shove this wave in here, get the wave into Camille's towers so she does lose gold and XP, or he needs to TP down and help his team. But he does neither of these. He's just looking down here. He's looking down. He's not TPing. He's not shoving the wave either. He's still looking, not hitting minions. And it just allows for, what it allows for here is it allows for this wave to stack up. So this wave is just going to stack up here. Big wave for Licorice. And what's going to happen is, we'll just fast forward a little bit further. Licorice is going to be able to come back up to top lane here, and he's going to TP top lane, and he's going to miss very few minions here in this situation. So I feel like it is a misplay by Huni there. He either needs to hard shove the wave in, or he needs to TP and help his team. So Licorice, he gets the roam off, and he also doesn't lose like any XP or gold top lane. So Licorice is just influenced the map really good here to start the game, and he's actually not even getting punished for it either, which is just super good in this situation. So let's just go back to the LCS stream now here. So skip ahead to around 7 minutes 50 seconds here. Nothing really happens the past couple of minutes, but notice what Licorice is doing here. He's got the priority in his lane, and what he's gonna do whenever you do have priority in a matchup, whenever you have the ability to roam and get vision, try to get deep vision down in the enemy's jungle. If we just go back here and we take a look exactly, let's switch to Licorice's point of view in this situation. So if we take a look at exactly where he ends up placing this ward, so he's gonna walk down here. It's going to get a deep ward in Lee Sin's jungle, and just getting these deep wards, getting wards like actually in the enemy's jungle is just way more valuable for your team. So planting a ward right there is not only going to allow for yourself to be safe from ganks, but it's also going to allow your team to be able to know like where Lee Sin is pathing on the map and where he's going to be headed. Because, for example, let's just pause it here. If Lee Sin comes topside, he does his Gromp and he does his Wolves. If you have a ward in Tribush here, and you also have a ward in the River Bush, that ward's not going to do anything for your team. It's not going to spot out the Lee Sin, but having this ward right here, it's going to allow yourself to know if Lee Sin's coming topside here. It's also going to allow your team to know where he's pathing, so you'd be able to see whether he's pathing top or whether he's pathing bot, so your team and yourself also get information and not only you. So just make sure if you do have priority in your matchups, if you have the ability to roam into the enemy's jungle, don't just plant wards like in your lane. Make sure you are trying to get some deeper wards to help your team out. This ward actually ends up being very valuable here as well. If we skip ahead to a couple minutes here, it looks like it's about a minute, they end up getting a kill on the Rek'Sai, and it's all because of that deep ward that Licorice placed in this situation. So let's just skip ahead here a little bit. So notice Lee Sin, he's pathing towards topside right now. And what Lee Sin actually does here is really good. He assumes that Licorice does have vision in the river here and that he would be spotted if he came through the river. So what he ends up doing is he actually ends up lane ganking in this situation. But because of this ward by Licorice, Svenskaren's able to realize that he needs to get over for a counter gank here, and they're able to just very easily pick off the Lee Sin. So let's just roll the clip here. Lee Sin's gonna come over the ward. They spot him right now. The missing ping goes down. Sven's gonna head over here to topside. He's just gonna sit in the bush because they know Lee Sin's gonna be pathing towards top here, whether he comes through lane or whether he comes through the river. So really smart though by Lyra to go through the lane here in this situation. Hopefully they switch back to the top side here. So yeah, the fight starts out. Sven's there for the counter gank. Licorice in a second, really good flash there on the Pike ult, so well played mechanically, also well played macro-wise by just getting that ward deep in the enemy's jungle. So basically the gist of this play here is that getting that deep ward allowed Sven to just very easily be in the right, be there in time for the counter gank. It allowed them to set up the play and set up how they're going to play it beforehand. So just really well played by Licorice, and his ability to have priority in this matchup in the early game, his ability to roam and get vision is helping Cloud9 out tremendously in this early game. So skip ahead to 10:50 in the game. Cloud9 is just kind of surrendering this Rift Herald here in this situation because they have their Sona bot side. They don't really want to force fights right now this early on with Sona Taric, because if they can reach mid to late game with Sona Taric, it's almost a guaranteed win. The combo just scales extremely well, so they don't really need to force anything in this situation. Now what happens here is it's a pretty, I feel like this is more of a misplay on Vulcan's side than it is a good play on Cloud9's side, but as you can see here, Vulcan tries to get a ward in that bush, he face checks, and he just gets bursted out right away. So it was a really good punish there by Licorice and Sven. But if we just go ahead and take a look back here at, we'll just let the fight play out here for a second. So because of that play, Cloud9's able to punish that. They're able to punish CG for overextending, and they end up getting 2 kills in this situation here. But if we just go over to Vulcan's stream for a second and just take a look at what he's doing when he's face checking back here. All right, so just fast forward a little bit ahead here. All right, so he's going to come topside here, and he's going to try to get vision down for his team. So ideally what CG wants to do here is they want to rift and grab this top lane tower. But what he does here is, okay, so he doesn't actually know where Rek'Sai. He's got no vision on Camille or Rek'Sai in this situation. So I feel like if he wants to get this ward up in the bush here, then Lyra needs to come with him. He needs to walk in with him, or they just need to do this as a team. Vulcan here, what he's going to do is no vision on Camille Rek'Sai. Lee Sin ends up leaving, so I don't know what... I feel like Lyra should just be with Vulcan here, help him get this ward in. But he ends up face-checking this. They end up bursting him out. He can't even use like his E, can't even use Flash in that situation to react in time. So that's just a really, really bad play there by CG. It ends up costing them the Rift Herald. Like the Rift Herald, they planted it there so they don't get anything off of that Rift Herald. And it's just going downhill now for CG at this point. Like Cloud9's really punishing every little overstep they do make in this game here. So if we jump to around 16 minutes into the game now, it's pretty close. Cloud9's only up around 500 gold, but the Rek'Sai is very far ahead right now. The Camille is pretty far ahead of Pyke as well. It's mainly the bot lane that's losing out. The reason why Cloud9 isn't up further is because, like, look at the bot lane CS. Like, Sona doesn't have as much as Xayah. So what's going to happen here, though, is that Sven's going to go in. He's ahead of Lee Sin. He can easily beat Lee Sin in a straight-up duel. So he's just going to go in, chunk out the Lee Sin there, and then it ends up pinching CG. Like, they get split here. Huni ends up getting it turned on, gets bursted out right away. So C9 is just playing a lot better as a team. It seems like Clutch is very discoordinated, and I don't know if you guys saw on the minimap there, but Damonte actually used his teleport from like right here on the minimap to into the Baron pit, and I feel like if he walked, that gets you around the same distance. So let's actually just swap over to Damonte's point of view here and just take a look at like what he's thinking in this situation, because I feel like using that TP isn't really necessary. So let's just go back a little bit further. All right, so Damonte, he's shoving in the wave here. He notices that Lee Sin gets jumped on, so now he's trying to walk down, but he ends up like TPing into the pit. I feel like if you walk down, you're gonna get to the exact same spot. Maybe like you'll be 1 or 2 seconds behind, but I don't know. I just feel like Clutch Gaming is pretty discoordinated in this game, and Cloud9 is definitely the more coordinated team, and they're just doing a very good job at punishing Clutch's mistakes. So jump ahead to 18 minutes into the game now. Licorice does have teleport. Huni does not have teleport. So Licorice's bot side right now, he's just looking to pressure. He can do this because he's able to match a play. If like Clutch Gaming goes for a dive mid here, which they end up doing, he's going to be able to match that with the teleport. Whereas if Huni stays bot lane and Cloud9 looks for an engage, he's not going to be able to follow that up, and they're most likely going to lose. So Clutch needs to, like, Huni's coming in for a dive mid here. They need to be able to get this dive play off really quickly and then get out before Licorice can TP in and clean up, but it ends up backfiring pretty hard for Clutch in this situation. So let's just roll it here. So they end up trying to look for a dive play. Huni's coming in, Damonte's coming in. They end up getting a kill onto Zazel here, but really good ultimate there by Sneaky on 3 members. It stalls it out enough so that Licorice can come in, start cleaning up this fight here onto Huni, and Clutch ends up just overstaying. Like, they need to just leave. I don't know why they tried to walk back towards mid there, because against Camille, against Rek'Sai, against Akali, if you just give them a little bit of space, they're going to be able to chase you down, and that's exactly what happens here. So Licorice, Rek'Sai, Svenskeren, Niski, they just end up cleaning that fight up really easily there, and the game went from a 1k gold lead for Cloud9 to now a 3k gold lead, and it all stemmed off of Licorice's pressure down in the bot side. Clutch needed to make a play, they went for it. Licorice TP's in and counters it really nicely, so just great play by Licorice there in that situation. So 1930 into the game now, Cloud9 does have a very good pick comp here with the Camille, with the Akali. So if Clutch Gaming ends up splitting off like they do right now, I don't know what Cody Sun's thinking here, because all of Clutch is going down into the river here, and Cody Sun is going to stay mid and try to just walk up and take this minion, and it's just immediate punish by Licorice. He just recognizes this, that he has the engage here. Clutch is split up. He can just go on to Cody Sun and burst him out. Notice that he doesn't have ult. He doesn't have flash either, so for him to be this far up here alone, I just feel like it's more of a misplay on Cody Sun than it is a punish on Licorice, but it is still really good for him to recognize this here. He's just going to E right in. Niski just jumps in as well. They get the burst down on Cody Sun, so every single play, almost every single play this game is stemming off of Licorice though, and he's just doing a great job at punishing Clutch Gaming's mistakes. He's just sitting here zoning them off this tower, so Cloud9 can very easily take this tower here in this situation, and they get another tower. They should probably back off here. I don't think they're really going to be able to get anything more. Baron is up right now, so they don't want to look for a dive play here and end up just throwing their lead. They're going to outscale Clutch pretty easily, so yeah, they should just back off here now in this situation. All right, so 23 minutes in here, Clutch is going for a desperation Baron play. Licorice, as you notice on the minimap, is down bot side, so Clutch is just trying to force something right here. Well, Licorice does not have the teleport, and he's down on the bot side, but he's now grouping up with his team. I feel like Licorice, he doesn't really need to be bot side right now. If he does have his teleport up, I think it's fine, but there's no really need for Cloud9 to risk losing a 5v4 fight while Licorice is bot lane. If they just group up and team fight with the Taric ultimate and with Licorice, they should win that every day of the week, and that's what they're going to do here. So Sneaky just goes for a flash engage. Licorice jumps in. They're just looking to dive onto Clutch Gaming because they're going to win this fight super easy. So they get the kill onto Lyra. And what happens right here is that Cloud9, they're a little bit split with their calls, so I feel like they should just look to turn on the Baron here and either look to force a fight or just do the Baron because Lee Sin's dead. But what ends up happening is that Licorice goes mid, Sneaky goes mid, half of Cloud9 go back towards Baron because they feel like that should be the call in this situation. So I feel like what they could have done is that if they want somebody to go mid here, then just send Licorice mid to pressure mid, and it forces Clutch to base, because if they don't base, they're just going to lose their entire base to Licorice, and if they do stay, then Licorice can pressure this, and if they try to fight, he can TP in. So Licorice being the only one mid here, I think is fine, but there's no reason for Sneaky to be here. I don't know really why Sneaky's here in this situation. I think Cloud9 can just very easily look to do this Baron if Sneaky's there. So what happens in this situation is that now a Sneaky and Licorice end up coming back here. They look to end up just helping the team out with the Baron. Huni's on the flank there, trying to do something, but there's really nothing Clutch can do here with Lee Sin dead, as long as Sven's got the smite, so this should be pretty easily secured. What Licorice ends up doing here though, whenever you are ahead, whenever you do have a champion who can zone, just look to zone the enemy off the Baron, so that's exactly what he does. They don't need his damage on the Baron, they have the damage, they have the tankiness, so he can just look to zone, look to fight. That's something you always want to be doing if you're super far ahead. Just do not let the enemy get anywhere near the Baron so that your team does guarantee it. And now they can just chase down the enemy team here. What he ends up doing in this situation is he ends up blowing his flash, and if we're being super critical, I don't really think that flash is worth it there. because the flash in the next fight, in the game-winning fight, is definitely going to be a lot more valuable than getting a kill onto the Rakan there, and it doesn't really net them anything. If the flash there nets them like the game, if it wins them the game, then yeah, go for it. But if it's not really going to net you a tower, any objective, then it's not really worth it to use. So I just don't think that using the flash there is very necessary. I'm pretty sure they would have grabbed the kill anyways, but that's if we're being super critical. Like Cloud9, even if he doesn't use the flash there, it's not like him using the flash there is going to end up losing them the game. So 28 minutes in now, Cloud9 have the Baron. They're very, very far ahead. So they can just look to dive here straight up pretty much, and they can look to end the game. And it's exactly what they end up doing. So they don't even care that the tower is here. They can just pop the Taric ultimate. Camille goes for the engage. And Camille's taking tower now, but because of the Taric ultimate, he's tanked about 5 tower shots, but he actually has not lost any HP, so they just continue to chase down, and they just win the game off of that. So hopefully this video did showcase to you guys as to how you can carry from the top side, getting early priority, being able to roam down, get an early kill for his team, being able to provide his team with good deep vision, which ended up getting another kill, and then just making good TP plays throughout the game. Licorice just did do a very, very good job at carrying this game for his team. So with that being said, guys, if you did enjoy this video, then be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you have yet to already. So thanks for watching, have an awesome day, and I'll see you in my next video.